everyone, it's Alyssa coming at you with another slow fashion video. This week it is the second Sunday of the month, and that means I am doing my series where I take looks that I find inspiring online or on Instagram and I recreate them using what I already have rather than going out and shopping. So I've chosen two looks that are fairly seasonless and can be modified for both hot and cold weather climates, and that actually can be really appropriate for work as well. So I hope you like the looks I've chosen. Let's jump on in. This first look is brought to you by none other than Katie Storino, who is one of my favorite bloggers to follow. She just has an incredible attitude. She has a really great series that she calls Supersize the Look, and she takes looks that she likes from celebrities and street style stars and rejigs them so that they suit her body style. So she does something similar, but from a different perspective. So she's definitely someone to follow if you like this kind of series, and she's just an absolute hoot. I'm gonna take this look of hers that I found on her Instagram that I really liked because it has a nice little subtle mix of prints, but also some really classic pieces that I definitely know I can work with. So before jumping into my own closet, I try to break down looks that I like into styling elements that are within my control rather than focusing on one piece that I likely don't have in my closet. So the first thing that I do is I break the look out into its style vibe or style genre. So I try to find adjectives that describe the look and then apply them to what I've got in my closet. So with this one with Katie, anything that has those like thoughtful, coordinated separates, I think always comes across as something a little bit more professional and polished. But I also think there is definitely an element of playfulness. Her hair is like, you know, a little bit loosey. It's not pulled back in a tight bun or anything like that. And I definitely also want to use classic here. The colors are very classic, and even the prints that she's using are timeless. The second thing I look at are the proportions and silhouettes of the look. So I would say here the silhouette is clean cut, straight, streamlined, and the proportions are very harmonious and balanced. And what I'm looking at when I'm looking at the proportions here in this outfit is she using volume or very dramatic silhouettes in different parts of her body to create a very dramatic proportion play. Finally, I look at the styling hacks, and styling hacks are so varied and can also be so small in detail that, you know, they could be something that ranges from how someone is using color in their look to how they've cuffed a sleeve. So here, when it comes to styling hacks, I think wearing coordinated separates is a styling hack in itself, because you don't necessarily have to have a matching suit. You can simply use two pieces that coordinate well with each other in terms of color. Then I'm looking at, so her blazer is left open, it's giving a very casual vibe, it's not buttoned up and super preppy, but she's tucked her shirt all the way in. And I mentioned this in another recent video, how I think when a shirt is tucked all the way in, there's no French tuck or quasi tuck or anything like that, it really adds a sense of polish. She does have a great pair of sunnies that are almost a little bit of a vintage throwback. The other thing she's doing here is mixing her prints, and although she's not mixing them side by side, this definitely still counts and works beautifully. So now that we've got all the styling hacks figured out, let's jump into my closet and see how I can recreate this look. I think the crux of this look is really that coordinated separates. And I'm not gonna lie, I chose this look because I knew I had a suit in a similar color tone that would work for this look. So I'm gonna go grab it. The silhouette of my suit is slightly different because I have a bit more of a dramatic leg. My suit is vintage from the 1970s, so my suit is definitely not as contemporary, but it's still coordinated separates. Does yours have to be a suit exactly like Katie's or mine? No. Like I said before, it can literally just be two pieces that are the same color. You'll get the same vibe. The next piece that I'm gonna grab is that striped shirt. So I have my trusty merino crew neck from Club Monaco. Hers is a bit more of a scoop neck, which is, I think, more flattering, but this is the only striped top that I have that will fit comfortably under that suit, so this is what I'm gonna go with. Even as someone with a very extensive shoe collection, I am so sad to say, okay, let's be real, I'm not that sad, but I'm going to try and find a shoe of mine that has some sort of print in it. Okay, I am actually so proud of myself. I cannot believe that these did not come to mind. I have had these beautiful Rachel Zoe heels for, oh gosh, since 2012. You know, they're definitely not the cheetah. They don't have that warm tone. I really like how Katie's using the warm tone in her shoes, but I mean, these do still work well because they're a print, and I like how they're a very different print from my stripes, and the color scheme works. So I think this will actually end up looking perhaps a little bit more coordinated, less playful, but we're gonna go with it. Adorable. It's on my computer here because I found it on Pinterest. It is very preppy if we are starting off with style vibes. Definitely very polished, professional, put together, and I also want to say chic and perhaps a little bit French inspired as well. Moving on to the silhouette and proportions. Again, the silhouette is fitted, it's very clean. There's some nice structure in there with the jacket and the skirt. There's a little bit of a proportion play going on here with the longer coat over a shorter hemline. This is actually a really fun play on proportion. It also doesn't look as busy or as dramatic as it could because the silhouette of the shorter hem and the jacket are both very streamlined and fitted. Finally, styling hacks. There is definitely a nice contrasting color palette happening here. We've got a lot of black and white tones. Then texture is being used to add a little bit of dimension. Not only does the skirt have a really interesting texture, but the shoes that she's wearing are patent black. So yes, they are part of that black and white palette, which might not be so interesting, but because of that shine in the patent, it's creating a lot more interest. Another interesting use of color here is the pop of color in the jacket. It does contrast nicely against the black and white while still being a neutral. Another interesting styling hack that gives us that instant sense of polish and preppiness is the fact that she's buttoned up her shirt all the way to the very top collar. She's also tucked both the shirt underneath and the sweater into the skirt. So again, feeling very buttoned up and professional. She's left the coat open, probably to showcase what's going on underneath because it's super cute, but she's also used layering to great effect here, and it's very simple. The layers are coming across beautifully because she's really showcasing the underlayer by buttoning it all the way up to the top of her neck. She's got that big oversized bag, which is in the same warmer tone as her coat. So she's matching her accessories to that pop of color. Other than that, she's kept jewelry very minimal, as in I don't think there's any. And she's added a little red lip as another pop of color, which I think is absolutely adorable and really dresses up the look. Okay, jumping into my closet, I think the base pieces are the skirt and the sweater, so I'm gonna work around those. I for sure don't have a skirt that is that kind of texture, but I do have one that has a very similar silhouette and hemline. Here is my skirt. It is from Zara. I think it was one of my very first real job purchases. This skirt is solid, it doesn't have any texture. Where I'm going to incorporate the texture instead is going to be in the top. In fact, I'm going to use my alpaca crew sweater from Everlane. And the crew neck I think is important, or any neck that will show the buttoned up collar. So this could even be a V-neck. It doesn't necessarily have to be a crew like in that picture. Next, I'm going to grab just a simple button-down shirt. I've hung on to this one because it's thin, so it works really well when I know I have multiple layers. Pair of black tights I can absolutely do. I do not have a pair of patent loafers. What I can use is my beautiful heeled loafers that I found at a market in Italy ages ago. Now for the bag and coat, here it is, my incredible and trusty camel coat that I found at Value Village a couple of years ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago now. Finally the bag, which is always my struggle. I do though have a wonderful vintage Burberry tote that my mom actually gave to me. Here we go! This lovely vintage Burberry tote. Enjoyed this video. Let me know if you thought those looks were a hit or a miss in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it or if you learned something new. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and so that you don't miss another upcoming slow fashion video. I post every Sunday. And I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back next week with another slow fashion video. Ciao!